بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. We continue our discussion about knowledge. We reached this hadith about the condition of true learners. And by contrast, we will mention also the condition of people who don't sincerely learn or don't put their learning into practice. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is quoted as saying, "Man talaba al-ilma lillah." This is very helpful for evaluating and examining ourselves. Whoever seeks knowledge for the sake of Allah, he learns for the sake of Allah. Lam yusib minhu baban illa izdada, which if you connect becomes illa izdada fi nafsihi dhulla. No one seeks knowledge for the sake of Allah unless for every piece, every Bab's gate, every section, every part of knowledge that he learns, he would increase in his humbleness. So if he learns any discipline or any part of discipline, some aqaid, some tafsir, some akhlaq, proportionate to that, his internal personal humbleness would increase. Dhul means he feels in himself that he is not a special, he is not, a person who is proud of himself. So internally he feels more humbled. وَفِي النَّاسِ تَوَاضُعًا. And also, with respect to his relation with people, also he becomes more humble. So, in his understanding of himself, he is more humble. In his interaction with people, also he is more humble. Both should be together, because sometimes there are people that they are very arrogant, but when they deal with people, they try to pretend that they are humble. But internally they are arrogant. And sometimes people are internally humble, but they don't know how to deal with people. And people think they are arrogant. So you should have both internal humbleness, which is what we call dhul here, or khushu', and external, which is tawadu. وَلِلَّهِ خَوْفًا. His fear, his God fearing should be more. So if you have been studying for 1 year, you have to have more God fearing than someone who has studied 6 months. If you have studied 2 years, God fearing should be more than someone who has studied 1 year, or more than yourself when you studied 1 year. So step by step, you have to get more and more fear, which is positive fear here. وَفِي الدِّينِ اجْتِهَادًا. And his or her extra work, hard working for religion, being very much careful and precautious about religion, becomes more. So if other people do only wajibat, a true learner should do also mustahabat. If they do salat, for example, in Furada, this person should do in Jama'ah. If they do salat not on time, this person should salat on time. He should be the first person to pay his homes, the first person to go for Hajj when he or she is mustati. So his efforts or her efforts for religion becomes more. Not that, God forbids, he learns all the loopholes and all the techniques to not perform his duty. Because there are people who learn so that They know how not to pay khums, how not to pay zakat, and they find excuses. No, you should be more God-fearing. وَمَنْ طَلَبَ الْعِلْمِ وَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَنْتَفِعُ بِالْعِلْمِ فَلْيَتَعَلَّمْ. This is the person that is benefiting from knowledge, and this person should learn. The person that internally has more humbleness, he treats people with more humbleness, more God-fearing, and more hard work. This is the person who is benefiting. وَمَنْ طَلَبَ الْعِلْمِ لِلدُّنْيَا. If someone seeks knowledge for the sake of dunya, he wants money, he wants worldly respect, he wants to be respected in the community. He says that, if you are alim, people respect you more. So let me become alim so that people respect me more. If I am alim, there are some kind of maybe merits or privilege so that I would, become alim. There is a sentence that the late Ayatollah Quddusi, who was a student and son-in-law of Allama Tabatabai and also a student of Imam Khomeini, and he was killed after the revolution by Munafiqeen. So he is the one who started Madrasa Haqqani in Hawzah. So there is a sentence that was put on the wall in our madrasa from him. And he was telling to the students, to Talaba, that if you have come to Hawzah so that later you would have a position and people come and kiss your hand, for example, and they point at you, with finger out of respect. So he says, before it becomes late, go back. If this is why you are in Hawzah, that you want to be famous and you want to be receiving, respect from people, please go back to your own homeland, your own cities. So this is something that a talaba must be very careful. Every seeker of knowledge must be very careful. We should not learn for the sake of becoming popular or becoming, person that people praise. People say, MashaAllah, this is a very nice person. No, it should be for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Man talab al-ilm lid-dunya, for the worldly gain. وَالْمَنْزِلَةِ عِنْدَ النَّاسِ, and to gain a position with people. وَالْحَظْوَةِ عِنْدَ السُّلْطَانِ, and to have a close position with the king. Can be king or can be any person who has power. Maybe there is king, maybe there is minister, maybe there is president, maybe there is mayor. Someone who has money, who has power, who has position, he wants to get close to that person. لم يصب منه بابا إلا ازداد في نفسه عظمة. He would not learn any portion of knowledge unless he becomes more arrogant. If it was for the sake of Allah, he was becoming more humble. But if it is for these things, he becomes more arrogant. وَعَلَى النَّاسِ اسْتَطَالَةً, and he always feels superior to people. He wants to dominate. وَبِاللَّهِ اغْتِرَارًا, and he would be deceived with respect to his relation with Allah. He would do things carelessly and he thinks, it's alright. وَمِنَ الدِّينِ الْجَفَاءً, and instead of doing more ijtihad and making more efforts for his religion, he would do more injustice to his religion. فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي لَا يَنْتَفِعُ بِالْعِلْمِ, this is the one who doesn't benefit from knowledge. فَلْيَكُفَّ. It's better that he stops. He should stop. وَلْيُمْسِكْ عَنِ الْحُجَّةِ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ. And would not add to hujjah, to argument against himself. Because if I have studied, I had teachers, I had classes, I had opportunities for learning, and I don't benefit from that, my situation becomes even worse. يغفر للجاهل 70 ذنبا قبل أن يغفر للعالم ذنب واحد. 70 sins of an ignorant person will be forgiven before one sin of alim is forgiven. Okay? So you see, when there is so much emphasis on knowledge, at the same time it brings responsibility. So Allah gives you a ni'mah, then He expects from you more. If you have been given ni'mah and you have not been grateful, your situation would be worse than the people who have not been given ni'mah. So what should we do? Should we say, okay, I don't want to learn so that Allah is more lenient with me? No. If you can learn, you must learn. But at the same time, you have to be careful. Don't take things for granted. Don't say, because I have been learning, I'm okay. No, you have to learn and you have to make sure that you practice. Like for example, can you drive your car without taking driving lessons? No. You have to take driving lessons, you have to pass tests, you have to get certificate. But then you can drive as you wish. Or now you have to implement. You cannot say, I have taken all the lessons from the best instructors and I have certificate. It's not enough. You have to learn and you have to also practice. There is hadith that on the day of judgment, some people will be asked why they didn't practice. They say, because we didn't know. Then they will be said, why you didn't learn? So first question is, Halla amilta. Why you didn't act? When they say we didn't know, then the question is, Halla ta'allamta. Why you didn't learn? Not to know is not good excuse. But to know is also not enough. You have to know and practice. فَلْيَكُفَّ وَلْيُمْسِكْ عَنِ الْحُجَّةِ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ وَالنَّدَامَةِ وَالْخِزْيِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. He should stop so that he would not add to the problems for himself. Will be no arguments, more arguments against him, more regret on the day of judgment. Okay, so this is the remaining of our discussion about knowledge, teaching and learning and condition of true learners from hadith. Now what I want to share with you is to go quickly through Islamic understanding of knowledge and then the way Islamic sciences were developed and they are studied in the Hawzah, inshallah. For sure, any type of knowledge which is useful, we should be open and indeed interested in learning. It's not that we only want to learn Islamic sciences. We need to learn everything that we need personally or as a community, as human society. Any knowledge that can be beneficial, we should learn. We need to learn how to farm. We need to learn how to, for example, do medicine, how to do engineering. We need to learn different techniques. We need to learn other languages. When Rasulullah says, "Utlubul ilm walau bis-Sin," seek knowledge even if it requires to go up to China. For sure, there was no Hawzah in China So it's not going there to take Islamic lessons. It's going to learn from their experiences, from maybe they have some wisdom, maybe actually in some version it's about ma'rifatun nafs. So maybe there are things that you can learn from them that are not Islamic as such, but are useful. We can go to different universities, different countries to learn different sciences and technology. So, Islam is not saying that you should only learn religion. Actually, our fuqaha say it's wajib kifai, means it's wajib upon everyone, but if enough people take care of it, other people then are exempted. It's wajib kifai that Muslims must learn all the sciences and all the skills that are needed in society. Maybe a time comes that we don't have enough doctors. Then it's wajib. We have to encourage people to become doctors. Maybe there's a time we have many doctors, we don't have engineers. Maybe there's a time we don't have enough teachers. Maybe there's a time that we don't have even, for example, cleaners. We have to make sure that all the jobs that we have in society are taken care of by qualified people. So, Islam is very much encouraging knowledge. Muslims who were very much behind as in the pre-Islam and then early years of Islam, but Rasulullah so quickly managed to bring them to the frontiers of literacy and then other sciences. In some battles, if someone who was killing and fighting against Muslims was arrested, okay? So they didn't kill them. They tried to find ways to help them and bring them back to society. One way was, if they were able to teach 10 Muslims how to read, they were released. Which society in the world does that? That you take the soldier of enemy who was up to 5 minutes ago killing you, but say because you have knowledge, we don't kill you, we ask you to teach and then you will be released. And of course many other people, because captives were not killed. So they found for them different ways to bring them back to normal life. And one was to teach 10 people how to read and write. Very soon, Muslims became pioneers in mathematics, in physics, in chemistry, in the time of the Umayyads and Abbasids. They soon reached whatever was available in the world, and then they built upon it and went even further. So, any type of knowledge which is useful is appreciated. But, we said these are wajib kifai. We should have enough people. But there are some types of knowledge that it's wajib ilmi. Every person should know. So when it comes to your aqaid, you cannot say, Alhamdulillah, we have people in community whose aqaid is good, it's enough for us. We have doctors, we have engineers, and we have also people who know aqaid. No, we should know all of us. Yes, to be expert in aqaid, to be a scholar, that's not wajib ilmi. But for you to be able to back up your aqaid with arguments, be strong, this is wajib ilmi, everyone should know this much. To know your fiqh, not to become mujtahid, but at least you know that much that helps you to understand what is your duty in every given case is necessary. To know akhlaq, how to become a better person, how to behave better, is necessary for everyone. We don't need to become all scholars of akhlaq, but to some extent it's necessary. So, we can say there are two types of knowledge. One is the knowledge which directly relates to our character, our conduct, our relation with Allah and other people. This is necessary for everyone. And there is knowledge that helps us in this world to live with health, to live with prosperity, to have dignified and decent life. It can be pure sciences, it can be humanities, it can be empirical sciences, whatever helps us to have decent, dignified life. This is also necessary to have some people that specialize in them, learn them enough to meet our needs. But this is not necessary for everyone. Now, the question is, what type of knowledge is that knowledge that takes you to the high levels of nearness to Allah and puts you just below Anbiya, below prophets, as we had in the hadith? We said ulama come just under prophets. Or we said midadul ulama afdalu min dima' ash-shuhada. Ink of ulama is more valuable than the blood of martyrs. What type of ilm and alim we are talking about? For sure, this is a special ilm. This is a kind of knowledge that the prophets used to share with people. We have al-ulama'u warathatul anbiya. Ulama are the heirs, those who inherit from the messengers, from the prophets. But hadith says, prophets didn't leave silver or golden coin. Lam yubarrathu dirhaman wala dinar. So what ulama have inherited from Anbiya? Knowledge. But what type of knowledge was that? It is true that sometimes in the teachings of Anbiya we have issues about physical health, or maybe issues, for example, about economics, issues about, I don't know, for example, how to solve our social problems. But the main thing for which we need Anbiya and we need ulama is knowledge that helps us to become better people, to improve our character, our akhlaq, our behavior. So that type of knowledge is the main thing. That type of knowledge is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us through Quran, through Hadith, and through our aql. So, if there is a knowledge that helps me in my relation with myself, with Allah, with other people, to become a better person, that's the main priority. That's the one that if you gain it and act upon it and teach it, you go right below the prophets. This type of knowledge. This is the knowledge that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, Al-ilmu nurun. Ilm is light, knowledge is light that Allah projects into the hearts of some people, that He is pleased with them. He wants to give them knowledge. So, sometimes I use this explanation. I say, although every type of useful information is good, but what is nur is different. It's not every useful information. You can use useful information to gain light. For example, I have a speciality, or I know something, a technique. With this I help people, I gain nur. But this subject itself doesn't have nur. But with my good intention, with my good approach, I can gain light even from something which is secular. I can get light. But there are some subjects that in themselves they have light. Like Quran. Quran has light. Whether you understand or not, Quran is not something that lacks light and your intention of Qurba brings light to it. Because with the intention of Qurba you can bring light to everything. Yeah? Even I can sleep with the good intention of gaining energy to serve, my sleeping becomes full of light. My eating, my drinking, my mixing with people. But this is bringing light. When it goes to the Quran, you don't need to bring light. When it goes to aqaid, akhlaq, hadith, you don't need to bring light. Open yourself to the light. So there are people who keep saying by their time words of Allah which have light, but this light doesn't go in. They are dealing with light, but they don't take the light. This is like a person who is carrying a torch, but his eyes are closed. Other people can benefit, but he is not benefiting. But imagine if you are teaching and learning and discussing something which has light, and you have opened your heart also to that light. What happens? Then little by little, this light transforms you. Then you yourself become a source of light even if you are silent. And this is why when people look at your face, then this is ibadah. Imagine what transformation has taken place, that this person now has become a person that people, by looking at his face, they are worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the power of light when we open ourselves to light. أَفَمَنْ شَرَحَ اللَّهُ صَدْرَهُ لِلْإِسْلَامِ فَهُوَ عَلَى نُورٍ مِّن رَبِّهِ. Allah talks about the people that their chest is opened up for submission to God, and now they have light. So, you don't create light. You don't produce light, because light only comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one can create light other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like no one can give you existence or life except Allah. مَنْ لَمْ يَجْعَلِ اللَّهُ لَهُ نُورًا فَمَا لَهُ مِنْ نُورٍ. If Allah doesn't give light, there is no light. There is no black market you can go and buy light. Okay? Light comes from Allah. What is my role and your role? Expose yourself to that light. But when I say expose, I don't mean just expose your ear and tongue and mind. Expose your heart. Even if your mind is full of Quran and Hadith, but has not reached your heart, no benefit. Heart is the main place, is the command and control room. If anything good or bad reaches the heart, then it's influential. So, friends and enemies, sources and forces of good and evil, all try to get to the heart, because that's the control room. We have to be very careful. Al-qalbu haramullah. La tuskin haramallah ghayrallah. Your heart is a sanctuary for Allah. Don't let anyone else or anything else get into the sanctuary that belongs to Allah. So, we should get involved in learning, teaching, discussing, thinking. Thinking is very important. Contemplating. Not just, read and teach. No. You have to also think. No one can become a good scholar unless he is also spending time on thinking and trying to look at the same issue from different perspectives, from different angles, and anticipate questions, challenges. It is through this thinking that you can absorb. So, thinking, studying, teaching, taking notes, writing are all important opportunities to be with light. But all of this is at the surface, on the surface. Hopefully, these will settle in your heart. But if you block it, so for 30 years, 40 years, 60 years, you can be doing all these things and be ignorant in your heart. رُبَّ عَالِمٍ قَتَلَهُ جَهْلُهُ. Amir al-Mu'minin said there are many ulama, many scholars that they are destroyed by their ignorance. عِلْمُهُ مَعَهُ لَا يَنْفَعُهُ. Imagine I can give you a lecture, for example, 1 hour about the necessity of being fair. Okay, but I am not myself fair. What's the benefit? عِلْمُهُ مَعَهُ لَا يَنْفَعُهُ. I can talk about, being honest, but if I'm not honest, what's the benefit? My situation even is worse than someone who doesn't know these things. So, we mean by knowledge different things, depending on the context. But the most important knowledge that everyone should be equipped with is the knowledge that relates to understanding our relation with Allah, how to be a better servant of Allah, how to be a better human being, how to be a better member of society, how to be a better son or daughter or father or mother, husband or wife, sister or brother, neighbor. These are the things that all of us need to learn. And Quran and Hadith have guidance about these issues. Studying these issues is studying subjects that are necessary, and we have sources of light projected on these subjects. We expose ourselves to this, and then inshallah little by little this gets into our heart and transforms our heart. Okay. After explaining what we mean by knowledge, now let's talk about Islamic sciences. Muslims, in order to understand the Quran and Hadith, they develop sciences. These sciences are sometimes introductory, preparatory, and sometimes are substantial. For example, they had to develop the science of sarf, nahw, balagha, tajweed, urud, many different sciences which relate to Arabic literature. These sciences by themselves are not sacred. Yeah? Like Arabic grammar, morphology, syntax, rhetorics, by themselves are not sacred. But Muslims had to develop these sciences in order to make sure that they better understand the Quran. They better preserve the Quran and teach the Quran. So we call them introductory sciences. They are not as such religious, but still you can call them Islamic sciences in a broader sense. The main sciences that Muslims developed were the sciences that directly dealt with the content of revelation, with the content of Islam, like aqaid, kalam, theology. This is very important. Little by little, this science was developed. Issues about existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about qualities and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about actions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about human free will, about whether the Quran was created or was eternal, about predestination, about life after death. So many issues related to theology or kalam or aqaid, they discussed it, and gradually a science was developed. Issues related to akhlaq. What should we do? What should we do? Shouldn't do? More than fiqh. I will talk about fiqh later. And virtues and vices which are about heart. Because akhlaq deals with both actions and qualities. They developed the science of akhlaq. They developed also science of fiqh, jurisprudence, to know practical laws of Sharia. How should they say prayer? How should they fast? How should they give alms? How should they marry? How should they perform hajj? How should they do transactions? Buying, selling, renting, this type of things. So, they developed first few major sciences. And there is a hadith, you must have heard this hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which he said, إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ الثَّلَاثَةِ. Knowledge which is necessary for everyone, which is light, is one of the three. Ayatul muhkamah. One is knowing your aqaid. This is interpreted as aqaid. You know firmly your beliefs. Sunnatun qa'imah, akhlaq. Wa faridatun 'adila, fiqh. Other than these three is fadl, is good, is a merit to know. But it's not wajib. Unless as kifai, wajib kifai, that we should have some people who know this. So, akhlaq, aqaid, and fiqh. These are three major branches of Islamic studies. But, because these are based on Quran and Hadith and aql, reason, so you need now few more sciences. How are you going to understand the Quran and Hadith? You need Arabic grammar, sarf, nahv, balagha, but also you need usulul fiqh, principles of jurisprudence which give you linguistic principles, intellectual principles, so that you can analyze a text. You need the science of Rijalul Hadith and the science of Dirayatul Hadith, because every Hadith should be studied in two different ways. The content has to be analyzed and the authenticity of Hadith has to be verified. We cannot accept every Hadith. We cannot even accept every hadith in major collections of hadith. We say, okay, because this is mentioned in Kafi or in Tahzib or Istabsar or Man La Yahdur al-Faqih, the first major collections of hadith, so we accept this hadith because mentioned there. No. Every hadith, one by one, has to be checked. The chain of narration has to be checked. The dilala, the indication of hadith also has to be analyzed. What does this mean? And is there any conflicting hadith? Any conflicting evidence? Any evidence that can shed light on this? It's not something easy. Alhamdulillah, our ulama over years have developed a very sophisticated methodology for understanding the text, whether it be text of Quran or text of hadith. And in the case of hadith, we have also methodology for verifying the authenticity of the hadith. For Quran, we don't need to verify the authenticity because all Quran is from cover to cover authentic. So you don't need to go through checking narrators. But when it comes to hadith, you have to check narrators, the sources. What our ulama do, which is amazing, and maybe no other tradition, even in Islam, has this. Today, in this century, we are able to trace back our hadith to the Prophet and Imams. How many generations are between us and the Prophet and Imams? For example, if there is a hadith in Al-Kafi, it's not enough just to say this hadith is in Al-Kafi. Why? Because how you make sure that the Kafi that you have today is the same Kafi that Sheik Cultivating compiled. So we have ulama that generation after generation, they took permission from their teachers to narrate Kafi. What does it mean? It means that the teacher read all Kafi, or the students read Kafi for the teachers, and then they made sure that their copy of Kafi and the copy of the teacher is identical. And the teacher from teacher. So finally, the same copy that Kulaini had compiled is checked generation by generation, so that now we know that what we have today is first from Al-Kulaini, and second, details are like what he compiled. If you look at, for example, beginning of 40 hadiths by Imam Khomeini, you see he mentions all his masters of hadith from his time up to Kulaini. So you know all ulama who have occurred in this process. Then we reach Kulaini. Okay, between Kulaini and Imam Sadiq, again there is few generations. So Kulaini says, and Ali ibn Ibrahim. So he has taken this directly from Ali ibn Ibrahim. And Abi from Ibrahim ibn Hashim. And then he from someone else. He mentions all the people up to Imam Sadiq. Now we can check all these people. If all of them are trustworthy, we accept the hadith. If one person is not reliable, or if one person is unknown, the whole chain collapses. Because when there are 10 people, one after the other, even one person in between, if he's not reliable, the whole thing collapses. Even if people who are before or after are very good, the hadith will become not, authentic, or you cannot establish authenticity. Even our ulama didn't stop this. They said, maybe there is something missing here. The people that are mentioned are okay, but maybe when Kulaini was writing down the names, he missed one person. Okay? We can assume that he didn't miss anything, but maybe he missed someone. Therefore, then they established tabaqat, generations of narrators. and said, okay, this person who is now the fifth person in this sanad belongs to this generation, and this generation narrates from this generation. So now they check whether these two match or there is any gap. So sometimes we can realize that this person can never have met the person before him. So there is a gap. So our ulama over years have developed very comprehensive methodology so that today we can relax and make sure that first of all we have our original sources still as the first generation, and we have proper methodology to reflect and analyze the content, the chain of narrators, compare them, and bring out the Islamic understanding. So, this is a little introduction to development of Islamic sciences, but now inshallah we continue after the break. Alhamdulillah.
So there's a brief recess for Q&A.